Hi everyone, I hope you're safe and well. Welcome to my channel. We've got an unboxing to do, but it was unplanned. It was an unplanned, spur of the moment, browsing around the internet purchase. Or let's see what it is, as I say on my videos. It's gonna be there. There's no cover, there's no external packaging for a shelf display or anything. It's just the product. Alright, there we are. That's what was inside the brown box. Now it's got some foam missing, but it's only outer packaging here and over there. So if I've done this right, this should just lift off. This, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is the FMS 2.5 metre ASW-17. It's not a new model by any stretch of the imagination. It's been around for quite a few years, but it was just such a bargain that I had to grab it, and it came directly from CML, the distributors for FMS here in the UK. So the manual is a classic FMS manual. It's got Chinese, French, German and English. The English is 13 pages. It's pictorial representation, and it takes 2 minutes to put this together because everything clicks and locks into place. I suppose it's second hand, but it's never been assembled and it's never been flown. It's just been displayed. Let's take a look at one of the wings. Right, look at this. That is a wing. It's silky smooth. You can see the cells on the foam, but it's silky smooth. Really stiff and rigid. Look at the size of this flap. Oh my goodness, that's a big flap along with a big aileron. So the flap runs from here. It's reinforced at the fuselage end. And it runs all the way along to here. That is a flap. And then the aileron takes from here. That is massive. This has a special push fit end, and what you do, it's got two prongs that are sprung loaded on the fuselage. So you go through here, spar goes in here, and as you can see you've got this quick connect, and as the wing goes in, these two sprung loaded clips get pushed. They'll come in and they'll clip out to lock it in place. And then when you want to take it out, you have to push these two together and pull the wing out. Massive spar tube going all the way up through the wing, and it goes right up to here. This is just a piece of plastic, no wheel, just a skid piece for when you're landing. Single strip of tape covering up the servo wires, but I do like these. They've got the plastic servo protectors, which acts as hatches as well, so you can unscrew 4 screws, take that out, and you've got your servo in there. Not sure I'm keen on these. They're easily adjustable by a grommet screw, but you've got to make sure those grommet screws are tight. And look at this aileron. Look at that. That has got no spare wire coming out of it. So if that's set up correctly, you've got to make sure that's not going to slip. I would have liked to have seen that longer, sticking out a bit more like the flap, So you've got a chance of putting a blob of something on there, glue, just to give it a fighting chance if it does come loose. But it's probably a known issue with these. This, to me, that looks like a metal rod running through both the flap and the aileron. I'm pretty sure that's a metal rod. Wow. But that is a strong, stiff wing. I mean, look, I can hold it from here, this end, and it's not really giving. The whole leading edge of this wing is capped in plastic. It's got a plastic runner, 3-part runner. It goes to here from the tip, and then down again to here, and then down again to the root. That's going to stop any digging, denting, bashing of the foam when you're landing. I really don't know what that is. It seems to be over the aileron servo, but why would they have it there and not one over the flap servo? So I don't know what that is. Maybe the manual will tell us when we take a look. The other wing, I will get it out, but it's exactly the same. Except on this one it's got HB1298. Serial number, FMS on that wing, of course, exactly the same quality. Plastic corner here to protect that piece. Same mechanism to connect into your fuselage. Why wouldn't it be? A few moulding holes on this one. And it's really interesting because this is the same. The flap actually has more wire coming through this piece out the other end where the grommet holds it than it does on the aileron. The aileron is inside, it's flush. Spar, as I said, the spar tube runs right the way through to here. Obviously the spar's not that long, so it might be that it's a solid tube, and then towards the end here they've got a hollow tube. I don't know, but it's really stiff. I mean solid, it is solid. Same mechanism. Here, these two sprung loaded. Same quick connect. Yeah, wow. Let's just put those down there. The tailplane clips in as well. That also has a white spar. Looks as though it's square. If I can get the light on it. It sort of runs up to here. And then the tip is left, so I wouldn't bend the tip, but the rest of it is quite stiff. This has a slide and clip into place, so you literally take that and slide it into the fuselage. On the tail, it clips into place, and then all you do is you have to use a grommet to connect this piece up onto your push rod, and that's done. But that's moulded as well. I mean, it's so smooth, it's unbelievable. So there's not even any of those, you know, you get those 5, 6 tiny little injector marks patterned all over it. It's got none of that. None of it at all. So how they moulded that, I don't know. Unless it was injected, taken out and smoothed somehow. But there's not even, you know when you get those little pinpricks, groups of 5 or 6 and one in the middle scattered over it, nothing, absolutely nothing. Same as this wing, it's got nothing on it, nothing at all. It obviously has these. I think this is where they inject this one from, the big wing. But this doesn't even have those. Wow, it's another Swiss. This is the same. I don't think it's got a spar in it. It just... Oh, it does, look. Of course, the spar is here at the front. And this clips into the back of the fin. And then you've got your rudder. Now this does... Yeah, that's what they've done, you know. They've smoothed this down because this has got one tiny, you probably can't pick it up on the camera, just there, of those 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little injectors, same as here. It's got it there and there. So they've done something to this surface after it's been moulded. They've polished it in some way, smoothed it out, and this is just a little leftover there, and there's one down here somewhere. And they must have done it on all of these. That's going to be so slick in the air. These are decals, just stuck on. And these are exactly the same. I've never seen ones like these. This is a brass barrel cylinder that's free to rotate inside twin horns. And you use a grub screw, push the push rod through a tiny little hole and use the grub screw to lock it in place. And then of course it will pivot against it. Yeah, very nice. Holy moly. Right, that's one of the wing spars. This feels like aluminium, and it looks like aluminium, and it is solid aluminium. It is not hollowed out, and it's got some weight to it. The hole here, as I understand it, is so you screw this into the fuselage. It's got threaded end here. Oh, and by the way, this part, I don't know why it's that part, but that is steel. And then this is aluminium. This part screws into the fuselage. You then put a driver through there and just use it to tighten that thing down. And that is your spar that the wing slides on, and of course you've got two of them. They are heavy. That's a piece of kit, I tell you. Holy smoke. Right, so let's put that there. There are two of them. I'm not getting the other one out. Don't see the point. And now let's take a look at our fuselage. If I can get it in. Wow. Can you see that? There's your prop. I've no idea how big the prop is, but it's quite a big prop. Folding, of course. Looks like it's got a cotter pin that goes through there. Not a cotter pin. It's got a pin that goes through there and a C-clip or E-clip here. So I'll have to put a dab of glue on that. Big front end, massive front end. Wow. These are the pieces that slide into the wing and make it spread out and then clip shut. This is a whole plastic piece for the wing that sits in there, the cradle for the wing. Here's your connectors, your pins on this end. This is where your spar screws into. That looks like that's aluminium as well, so you have to be a little bit careful unless it's steel, because you'll screw in a steel thread into aluminium, and aluminium being the soft could get damaged, but never mind. Wheel for landings. There's a nice wheel. It's I don't know how big it is, doesn't say. It looks like 1.5 inches, maybe. You've got air intakes here for the motor cooling, air intake here, and just behind that you've got your speed controller. Outlet here to let the heat out as it comes through. Very rigid fuselage, my goodness. Compared to comparing the Night Radian fuselage to this, the Night Radian's like a piece of jelly. This is solid. Wow. Here's the connector where you slide that tailplane and elevator onto, and it just clips into place. Then you connect your push rod up, and that's it. And it's made so you can pull it forward and take it out. The rudder, well, that clips into these clips here. And it's my understanding that once on, people tend to leave it on and just cut the foam out in the storage foam, so that can slot back in, leaving the rudder on. So you don't have to mess with that. Now, this is interesting. This is super smooth foam. It really is. It's like glass. This isn't. This is sort of mottled. Now, I don't know if they've done that so you can get a grip on it. I've no idea. But the whole canopy comes off, and there's a button here that you press, flips it up, and it comes off really easily. But that is a mottled paint. It's quite strange. It's not high gloss like the rest of the plane, and it's certainly, it's smooth, but it's not as smooth as the rest of the plane. Let's see what we've got here. Right. Well, we've obviously got all our connectors at the back, so one would presume the receiver goes somewhere at the back here. And then you've got a cavernous area for a battery. Two straps. They're not marked FMS, so they're not the best quality. They do move, which is good. It's awful when the straps are glued. Velcro. I've always put the hook on the object. So in other words, I would have the loop on the board and the hooks are on the battery. It always seems to be the other way around when I buy aircraft, and I have to swap it over. But never mind. So that's that. I say cavernous because this is hollow. That's completely hollow. So unlike some of the fancier aircraft with cockpits with pilots in, this doesn't. Therefore you can put quite a big battery in there, and that will just go over really nicely. Really nicely indeed. Look at that. That is one chunky piece of kit. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to tell you about it. That's it. All it's got is this green sticker with ASW-17 on the side. The so-called goodie bag, all it has in it are two push rods. I'm trying to think what they are for. Obviously one's for the rudder. Oh, rudder and elevator. And 4 little grommet screws. 2.5 metre wingspan. It's quite heavy. It's 2.3 kilograms. 40 amp speed controller, which means it only operates on a 4S. And it says there 14.8, 2200 or 2600. No problem at all. No problem at all. You could get easily something much bigger in there. You could get a 4500 in there, as long as you can balance it out. Move it back, move it forward to get the balance right. That will be interesting to see how big a battery we can get in there. Yeah, really good bargain this was, I tell you. The instructions are incredible. It literally is clip that on, connect those, screw those in, clip that on, and you're ready to fly. Wow. I probably won't do an assembly video of this, because there's no way in this room I'm going to be able to manoeuvre it. So what I will do is put it back in its packaging, the foam base. That's what it's going to be transported in, this one over here. Right, so that's how it will go to the field. Basically that will just slide into the back of the car. It keeps it all nice and tidy and neat. What you will see what I've done is I've put the rudder on here, and I've cut the end. I don't know if I can turn this box around so you can see it. I can't, but I've cut the foam out at the end here. What I've also done, I've cut enough foam away inside that I can have the push rod permanently connected. So that is something I don't need to worry about. Yeah, so I'm doing a little bit of prep on this, get it ready for the field. I've replaced the hooks here with this loop Velcro, because on my batteries I have the hooks on the actual battery, so that'll go in there, and that is actually a 2900 milliamp 4S. Anyway, that's done. I've put my flying ID on it, which is law now. I've also set up the rudder, and as you can see here, it's clipped in. The servo horn is connected through the push rod to this brass piece, which is held on with a grommet. But as you can see, this push rod is only just long enough. So even though I'm going to tighten that down as hard as I can, put a blob of foam tack on it, there's a tiny piece of wire at this end. If that was to slip, I'd have no rudder, and I expect it will be the same on the elevator. So I will be getting longer push rods. I'll make my own. I'll just put a Z-bend in a piece of wire, extend it to beyond this, and cut it off. But that works fine. I've tested it, it's all linked up. This I'll have to connect at the field. That'll be the only fiddly bit really with this. Final quick update. Whilst I was preparing this for the field, I suddenly thought, oh my goodness, it's basically all white. So I'll leave the writing on the top, but what I've actually done here is added some colour. So I've got my yellow and black striping, black, yellow and black. I might end up putting a black bar here, I don't know yet. I think that will be enough to distinguish the sides. This is the left wing, and what I've done on each wing, I've put Velcro for my easy lights. So I can actually attach an easy light as well. They look quite good that way. Yes, so that's what I've done on both wings. As far as the ran out of battery there, so I don't know what you picked up. I've got an easy light Velcro connector there, so that just goes over there, and that's what I've got. Turn that off. The other thing I've done on the fuselage is basically put a piece of nose art on it, as I always do, and there she is. And I happen to have two of those, so I've got one on either side. I don't normally do that, I normally just have one on one side, but I thought, what the heck. And that's it. That's now, apart from my camera mounts, and I will be putting camera mounts on this. I mean, it's a huge lifting aircraft, it's got such a big wing, all packed away, ready to go up to the field and fly. So I'll add that to the maiden list. Might do two on the same day, who knows. So thanks for watching, stay safe, stay well. I look forward to you joining me soon on another video. Cheers.